Hope everyone's doing well and welcome back to another weekly outlook. So cool. DXY has gone against expectations. What we were expecting to see was sort of this range play out for us from this high to this low after we had swept, rather broken out of this consolidation and then gone ahead and swept this low. We anticipated a continuation. Quickly just turn this off just to make it clean. Now, what's actually ended up happening, we've gone through the high. Now, is that a major invalidation? Is that, just we're completely off? No. What's happened is clearly this is most likely going to be a case of accumulation, manipulation, distribution for then another distribution this way. The sort of thing that we're looking for. So essentially, what we want to see from price here, just to keep it simple, is we may trade slightly lower, maybe tap into this order block daily fair value gap. But from here, I'd be looking for higher prices. See how we treat these highs. Can we sweep this buy side? There's equal highs here. It's a lot of clustered liquidity, right? Maybe even up to this high. If we can sweep all of this, to then push lower and then continue lower, is the sort of thing that we're looking for. Now, why is that a sensible sort of scenario to go for? Now, first things first, we have a new monthly candle beginning very, very soon. This current monthly candle, I'm going to get rid of this, is an extremely small body, and from the looks of it, we're going to open quite close to the previous monthly high. So I'd be looking for a sweep on this at the very least. Mark that out. Cool. We can get a sweep on this, right? Once that is swept, we want to see continuation lower, right? Why do we want to see continuation lower? It's the same case as we've had it for the last couple of weeks. We've had a rate cut. We expect another rate cut going into this month. We expect overall on a macro level the dollar to be bearish, right? And I think we will see that. Now, what we see on the weekly time frame is quite disgusting. It's just wicky. It's wicky both ways. It's a big consolidation. Very, very small bodies, very tight. So hopefully this new month come in, previous monthly high swept, maybe even these other highs as we just mentioned, to then push lower, may be a very good scenario for us, right? But for the time being, we also need to recognize we're in a weekly consolidation, or potentially could even be a monthly consolidation, but we don't want to jump the gun and assume, we're just in a consolidation. If we run these highs, we get some displacement, we look for a position as usual, and we see what it does for us. If we come over to Forex Factory, what we can see is there's not a lot going on in the week in terms of dollar apart from ADP and the NFP. Those are the main things I'll be watching for. We have jolts on the Tuesday. We got ADP on the Wednesday, which is the big one to watch for. Another news folder at 3 p.m. too. We have unemployment claims on Thursday, and then of course the biggest mover, NFP, on the Friday. Right, this is where my eyes go. We really want to see how this week sets up. If this week can give us that textbook previous monthly high sweep, then it may even be a scenario where the higher the month is in and we look for continuation this way. That's the sort of thing that we're looking for. Cool. US 10-year is sitting in the premium. We expect lower prices from where we are now. If we come over to the monthly, what we see is quite a large wick, but I wouldn't say it's anything to be worried about. What I do see, and one thing I would know, is that this consolidation is getting tighter and tighter. Price may just keep coiling up rather than giving us a breakout, which is again similar to the DXY, with weekly charts getting quite tight, is a scenario to consider as well. Prices will respecting this trend line. It's got both sides. It may decide to stay in this range, but hopefully with news coming up, NFP coming up, we can get a big breakout. In terms of the weekly range, we can even, I'm pretty sure it's actually meant to be that we can extend it to there. We don't expect this high to get taken for the time being. We may float about in this range, but overall we expect lower prices from it. USDJPY, spoke about this last week. Quite a strong move away, right? Still sort of in this large range. We didn't break out just yet, but I would anticipate, prices very, very close. We've got equal highs here. We've got equal highs here. I'll say the odds are that we push through and take all of this liquidity, right? We had a sort of, big move up, massive impulse move here, a move down, retracement, consolidate a bit, and now another breakout. So I would anticipate the new leg of price will be built here So I would only anticipate continuation from here. One thing to note would be there's an opportunity for a potential previous weekly low sweep, but past that, we remain bullish. In terms of opportunities, USDCAD isn't something that I would be very interested in. We're very, very deep in that premium. You know, if we do sort of break past this high, there's not much to work off in terms of a stop loss. Like the next area I would have my stop loss is very far away. So in terms of swinging, this is not a pair I would be looking to get a position on just yet. Rather, like we said in past weeks, we let the sort of move happen first. And once that high is in place, for example, high the month is potentially in, we're confident, then we can start looking for that continuation away. Very similar, not much to add. You know, it's a common theme you guys should notice, and hopefully do, is that, you know, when the DXY isn't great, you're going to see it across all the pairs that sort of encapsulate the dollar. Of course, it's the sort of things you expect, right? Unless it's being carried very hard by the other pair. Okay, let's see for USDCHF. There's not much that we really want to see here. The reason I was sort of extending the fib to show is that we're in a big consolidation. There's nothing too crazy, very similar to the dollar. There's nothing you can, even at first glance, there's nothing, you know, I'd potentially like to work up to. The big trend line here. I wouldn't put my stop loss at any of these highs just yet. Again, similar to USDCAD, if there is something we want to entertain here, it's very likely we let it take place first and then become a part of the move later. USDJPY, not bad. It's got that AMD upwards. Still not something I'd be interested in. You know, potentially it does look like it will push for these highs. You know, these are equal highs here as well, but it's not the sort of direction we're trying to trade in anyway. So it's not something I'd be interested in. Once this does turn around, and if it does give us a good reversal, there are massive, massive sell side targets, very clean sell side targets as well to push for. Once it eventually, it definitely will, gives us that confirmation. Much to add. It's actually playing out to expectations. We said, you know, we'd expect another bullish week. It's not been a massive candle by any means. We don't expect any major turnaround. What I would expect in the coming week is most likely continued strength, unless NFP calls it some sort of large reversal. Continued strength, a previous weekly low sweep perhaps, and then from there continuation back to the highs and pushing for, you know, new prices, going into price discovery mode, as they say. Quite a boring outlook. There's not much going on, if I'm being honest. I do think NFP can give us a big kick. I do think the market itself and sentiment is very reliant on the sort of labor market for the time being. Now, what we see on the S&P, on the daily specifically, we marked this out last week. We said we use this low as an anchor. Wherever the highest place, use that as your other anchor and anticipate that this low will not get broken and you can potentially head swing from here. So, you know, as you guys can see, it's come into that discount, came quite deep, actually re-respected that daily fair value gap, and from there has now pushed higher. I would anticipate continuation back to the highs, market maker buy model back to the highs in the coming week, right? Especially now that the week's open, I would only expect higher prices from here. I wouldn't really expect a previous weekly low sweep, but I would say previous weekly highs most likely the next destination for price. Lastly, Bitcoin does look like it's going into that sort of consolidation mode. We spoke about this last time as well. Take a quick look at the monthly first. Yeah, it's very likely first, I'd say we see a previous monthly low sweep. It's too close to not do it. We might even see this candle swept. Right, let's mark this out and see if it's a target for us by any means. Okay, what we can see here, essentially this is all the internal liquidity minus the actual swing low. If price is able to come and sweep these, then push higher, it would actually make for a very, very good setup. I think this will sit at bang on the 0.70575 maybe of the OTE if we take a quick look. Yeah, just under the 0.705. So not a bad shot at all, I would say, potentially to swing from. I do anticipate Bitcoin will continue being bullish. I do think we see these lows get swept, flush out all the people that are currently trying to go long, and then from there continue that move back up to the highs. But yeah, guys, that is it for this weekly outlook. As usual, any questions at all, anything I can help with, please just drop me a message.